I don't want to stay in my parents' home like forever. It's better to have a home that is truly mine and I can build my family around it.
So I don't know what your situation is now, but I have some friends who say that. And I'm like, do you even have a girlfriend yet? And they're like, no, but one day, do you really need to rush into all of these things when it's not certain yet for you?
Okay.
You know of all the issues that are there. If there is a plumbing issue, if there's a leaking issue, you know about it. No one regretted not buying a house, but a lot of people regretted buying a house. Welcome back, guys. My name is Emir and this is The Money Goal. Today I have Nura with me and Nura wants to talk about buying a house.
Oh my God. Okay, so I am close to turning 30.
Same.
I'm not gonna tell my age. So I'm close to turning 30 and mostly my expenses is like my car, my parents, insurance, and just like shopping expenses and everything, which boleh lah, right? Manageable. So I was thinking like my car is about to I'm about to finish off my car payments. I was like, what else can I do? And a lot of people keep on saying like, the next step is you should buy a house. You're gonna turn 30 soon. You're gonna turn 30 and then, you're gonna get into this whole time like, it's better to buy a house. It's an investment. If you're not gonna live in it, you just rent it out.
Yep.
So I'm like in two different places. Like, should I actually buy a house?
Okay. That's a very good question. I think a lot of people have this similar dilemma.
Yeah, right? Is it a good idea?
Yeah. I think a funny thing first is you said, oh, your car payments are about to be done. So, let's just replace that with another commitment. I have a lot of people who say the same thing. They tell me, oh, my car payment is about to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I gotta buy another car, all right?
Yeah.
God forbid I have extra cash every month. I gotta find another commitment to commit to, right? But yeah, I think houses can be a good purchase. I would say they are better than cars because cars is just gonna depreciate all the way, right?
Okay, but what's the first step of, looking into like properties and buying houses?
Yep.
What is the first step for doing that in the process?
Good question. So first step is for you to answer why do you want to buy a house? So a lot of the things that you said earlier was like, oh, your car payment is going to be done. So some friends told you it's a good idea to buy a house. You're nearly 30, you think maybe it's a good time to buy a house. But why do you want to buy a house?
Okay, because I feel like I don't want to stay in my parents' home like forever. Okay. I don't want to stay in my parents' home forever. So I feel like, okay, one day I'm going to have a family.
Okay.
It's better to have a home that is truly mine and I can build my family around it. So that's the biggest reason why I wanted to buy a house, is because it's something that I can call mine and it's a safe haven for me. Yeah,
100% agree. I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Right? But I guess the question then is, should you buy now or should you buy in the future, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, oh, when I've, I'm planning for when I have kids and everything and stuff. So I don't know what your situation is now, but I have some friends who say that. And I'm like, do you even have a girlfriend yet? And they're like, no, but one day. But the thing is that there's a lot of things that we have to consider. When you buy a house, you're committed to that area. Right? Like, let's say if you buy in Ampang, you're basically committed to the area. And maybe it's good for you now, but what if one day you move jobs? Or what if when you find a partner, they work somewhere that's too far away? Or let's say when you start having kids, you're like, actually this area, the schools are not that great. Right?
Okay.
So these are I would say the emotional aspects that you have to consider first before we even touch about the finances, right?
Okay.
Like, do you really need to rush into all of these things when it's not certain yet for you? Unless you have everything sorted out lah. Unless you already have, a husband, you already have kids. Then I guess you have a clearer picture of where you guys want to settle down long term.
All right. Okay. So for me, I always wanted to settle down around like Klang or Puncak Alam or like Shah Alam, around that area.
Okay.
So no matter what, I always
It doesn't matter where you stay.
Yeah, it doesn't
always
matter
where you work. I mean,
it doesn't matter if I have a job in the middle of KL or even in Malacca or anything.
Okay.
I always want to settle
You live
down.
area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
Then I think okay, you've basically checked that off. That's good.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So then now it comes into affordability.
Okay.
Right. Still, is it the right time to buy now or is it the right time to buy later? So I think first of all, just the very basics. Every month right now, Is your income exceeding your expenses? Are you saving money every month?
Yes, I put aside for my savings,
Okay.
and I put aside for like for a rainy day. And at the end of the month, I don't use all of my income.
Okay.
And it adds on every month.
Okay. Yeah. I think that you're in a very good place already.
All right.
Okay. But do you know about all the hidden costs associated
No,
with buying a house?
that's why
right?
I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah. So I recently bought a house. So I know.
Okay.
S&P value, which is basically the value of the house that the developer tells you it's at. For
Okay.
me, it was 300,000. So I thought that's all I have to pay. Obviously not. So there's stamp duty. And there's legal fees. There's like legal fees for the loan.
Okay.
And there's legal fees for buying the house, for like transfer of ownership or something. Yeah, so there's all these things that you have to pay, and they range from between 0.5% to 2%, depending on the value of your house.
So it adds up more.
It adds up.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to buy insurance. You have to buy insurance for the house. Yeah, there are different types of insurance that you have to get for the house. Because the bank, they need to know if anything were to happen to you, someone needs to pay me. Right? The bank's not gonna let you take that risk. I think in certain scenarios you can do without the insurance, but most of the time these days, if you want a good interest rate, you have to get insurance as well.
Okay.
And that for me, for a 300,000 house, was about 15,000 insurance. Yeah. I just get added to the house rent and additional costs.
Now
Yeah.
I don't want to buy a house.
Wait, but not yet though. I don't think it's not meant to scare you. It's not meant to scare you. Just to be aware of how much you can afford and stuff, right? And then you have to factor in renovation, of course. You can't
Yes.
go in and sleep on the floor and then
Yeah,
let's
that
not
is
save a bit and buy a
true.
bed, right? So renovation costs, I would say depends on how nice you want it to be. But I would say good range is maybe about 10 to 20% of the value of your house. So that's another thing that you got to pay upfront. Right. So again, not to scare you, you can save up for this. You can save up for this.
Yeah.
It's just that
So how's the planning of saving up towards buying one?
okay.
Yeah.
So I think what you want to do is, first of all, you said you have your emergency funds, right? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that part is good. That part is
Alright.
good. Okay. So now you want to save up for your down payment. So you got to save up for your
Okay.
down payment and your renovation, right? So
Alright.
these are things that you can do over time. I think it's
Okay.
completely up to you. If you can save more for it, I think great. Put more money aside for it. If you can get to about, I think 15 to 20% of the value of your house saved up, then I think you'll be good to go to buy a
Okay.
house, right?
So another question
Yep.
is it better for me to buy the house that is in development, meaning they didn't rise up yet,
Yep.
the house, or should I buy
Subsale.
the one that is already
Built, right?
ready? It's
Okay,
already
okay.
ready built.
So this one is completely like personal preference. So okay, for my friends, they told me, I'm not an expert in this as well, but they told me that for your first home, you should buy Subsale,
Okay.
which is as in you buy it secondhand from someone
Yeah,
else.
okay.
Just because when you buy Subsale, when you buy a house that's 5 years old,
Okay.
you know of all the issues that are there. If there is a plumbing issue, if there's a leaking issue, you know about it.
Okay.
If you buy a new development, you don't know, right? You gotta like, it's a gamble. You walk into the house, then you see how it goes. So then what if you walk in and there are plumbing issues? That's another cost that you gotta pay for, right? There's all these things to consider. But then of course, even for me, I would rather have a new house. So it's again personal preference.
Yes,
personal
personal
right?
preference. Another one is it better for me? Like I have a future. I was thinking if I were to buy a house, it's gonna be a family home for my family.
Okay.
So is it better for landed or condo or an apartment?
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, this goes back to personal preference.
Okay.
Right? What you prefer, how much you're willing to spend, and all that. But generally speaking, if you're thinking about it in terms of like value appreciation, then landed properties will do better, or they tend to do better.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to preference and how much you're willing to spend, because condos will be cheaper. Condos will be cheaper than landed house, right?
Yeah.
And I guess when we get to that, when it comes to thinking about how much you want to spend, or how much should a house be? How much am I ready to pay?
Yeah.
Right? One is, like I said, you got to consider the down payment and upfront costs, about 15 to 20% of the value of the house. And then it comes to the mortgage payment. So how much can you afford, right? The general rule of thumb for this is that this should not exceed 30% of your income.
It should not.
It should not exceed 30% of your income. So if your salary is 10,000 ringgit take home,
Okay.
your mortgage should not be more than 3,000 ringgit.
Oh.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll be in a very tricky situation with regards to the rest of your finances. So that's what people usually follow. People
Okay.
usually follow.
So it's better to keep it par below 30?
Below 30%. Yeah.
Below 30.
Right?
All right.
So then you have options. You have options for this, right?
Okay.
One is you get a house that's within your affordability, where you
Okay.
give a normal 10% down payment and you can get the mortgage at 30% of your income. Or let's say if you really want a nicer house, like I really want this house. This is my dream house.
Okay.
But the mortgage would come to 40% or 50% of my income.
Okay.
Your option is you save up more down payment and you pay more down payment.
Ah.
So that your loan amount comes down, right?
Okay.
And I think it's fine. I think a lot of people rush to buy a house because they think this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
I will never find a house like this ever again in my life. I have to buy it now. But speaking from experience, and speaking to all of my friends and stuff,
Yeah.
no one regretted not buying a house. But a lot of people regretted buying a house. No one told me like, 5 years ago I saw this house and I should have bought it. Very rare lah. No one really says that.
Yeah.
Let's just find another one.
Because a lot of people like around my age as well, they're like more to it's okay to rent for the rest of their lives than actually buy one.
Correct. Yeah. So this again, it comes to preference.
Yeah.
So I was also a very I was very into renting. I thought renting was very good.
Yeah.
Because one, it can be cheaper.
Yes.
So you know when you buy a condo, you have to pay for maintenance fees. You have to pay sinking fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is for like the guard and everything, and you have to
Yeah.
pay for those every month. And then if you have any issues, you have to pay for it yourself. Whereas if you rent, you don't have to pay that, right?
That is true.
But another big benefit of renting that I prefer now is that it gives me flexibility. Because
Alright.
I don't know where I want to settle down. But I guess you do. You said
do.
whatever it is, I want to settle.
I
But
want
for
to
me,
settle down there.
yeah, for me, I want to live close to work. I don't like to travel to work. I'm not a 1 hour each way every day kind of guy.
Okay.
If I work in KL, I'll move to KL. If I work in Shah Alam, I'll move to Shah Alam. So I wanted that flexibility
Okay.
where I could do that. And also because I'm someone who has a variable income, I don't know where things will be. I just want the flexibility of if things get bad, I can downgrade. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So another one is that you see a lot of these rumah selangku and what do you call it?
Rumah whip.
Yeah.
Rumah whip.
Is that actually helping in people trying to maintain get a house and everything?
Yeah.
Please?
I think those are really worth it actually. So I myself, I bought a rumah whip recently.
okay.
Yeah. So because they are government projects, these developers still have to build it up. But I think it makes affordability a lot better. Right?
Yeah.
It makes affordability a lot better because the condos are capped at a certain price. Like for
Okay.
mine, I think all rumah whip is fixed at 300,000 ringgit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is also why I bought it. Because to me, okay, at least for my affordability right now,
Right.
300,000 is very comfortable for me. Like
Right.
very comfortable where I don't really have to worry
Yeah.
too much.
So how's the process of you getting that so that I can just like walk through it as well?
As in my process, like the
Yeah.
actual process step by step,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
thinking about the finances and stuff.
The process of getting that house and
Okay.
also financial as
Okay,
well.
okay. So I guess I'll get to before I decided to buy a house. So I knew like, okay, every month, this is how much money I had left over after all my loan expenses. So I
Okay.
can afford a house at this price.
Okay.
But I didn't want to buy like a very expensive place like my forever home because like I said, I don't know where I want to settle down
Yeah.
yet. But to me, this rumah whip was a really good deal at 300,000. So I knew I could afford it comfortably. So I thought, okay, let me buy this first. This to me, I also considered like a backup because currently my rent is a bit high. It's higher than what my mortgage would be.
Okay.
So I was thinking, if one day things go bad, I can just stop paying my rent and just stay at the road, and it's cheaper. Yeah, it's a downgrade for me. So this was like a safety net for me.
Okay.
And that was my process lah, right? And to actually getting the rumah whip, you just had to send some application to the government,
Okay.
and then they'll tell you whether you're approved or not. Once you're approved, and then you get the developer to settle all your loans and stuff lah. Yeah, just very
okay.
general. Yeah, but my thinking was I didn't want to buy a house until I knew I was going to settle down.
Okay.
And I wanted to buy a nice house lah, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to buy like a 600,000 ringgit house and then as I progress in my life, like, oh, I'm going to upgrade to a 1 million ringgit house and oh, I'm going to upgrade later on.
Yeah.
I want to go nice straight away.
Oh.
I want to be like, okay, this is my house I want to buy and it's going to be expensive and I can't afford that now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep renting until I
Yeah,
can afford it.
that's my thinking as well because I feel like if I were to buy, I'm thinking of it not right now I'm gonna buy.
Yeah.
I have that plan and I'm just trying to save as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I want exactly like you. I just want to buy a really nice house up front.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't want to like, oh, keep moving, and as of my life
Yeah.
upgrades. Yeah. And I feel like it's no rush.
It's no rush,
You
right?
can just keep renting. A lot of people think renting is throwing money away.
Yeah.
It's throwing money. But to me, it's buying flexibility. Right? Buying a house is a 35-year commitment. We haven't even been in life that long. Right? We've been alive less than 30 years. I'm going to commit to a house now.
Yeah.
Just because my friends told me, you know.
Peer pressure.
Exactly. And
This is a really great talk right now. So my initial is just I have to keep on saving.
Yeah.
I have to know exactly what I want and look at the places that is either developing or about to have a house,
Yep.
look at the comps,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And until then, you can just keep renting. I think the key to most people is the key takeaway is don't rush.
Yes.
Don't rush into a house. I think a lot of people, from my first job, I had a boss who was late 20s. He rushed into a house because he thought it's an investment, right? But there's so many better places to invest, honestly. Because a house is not so easy to liquidate, right? It's
Yeah.
not so easy to sell. If I invest in stocks, I can sell it anytime I want.
Yeah, true.
Instantly, tonight, I get the cash.
Yeah.
With a house, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really locks you down. I've said this before in the previous episode, but I don't like commitments. I like to accept relationships, but I don't like financial commitments. I don't like financial
Okay.
commitments. It really ties you down. And for people our age, I think it's good to have flexibility.
Yeah.
It's good to have the freedom to do what we want and to tweak things if we need to.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is so much fun. Now I know what I want.
Yeah. So I guess the key takeaways from this is number one, don't rush into buy a house. Just keep saving,
Okay.
right? Just keep saving to buy a house. Let's say it takes you a while to decide or to find your perfect home.
Yes.
Imagine by then you already have 50% of the value saved up. I mean,
Okay.
perfect. Then you don't even have to worry so much about, your monthly expenses,
Yeah.
your renovation, how you're going to pay for that, If you can pay for your renovation upfront with cash, that's like perfect, right? Then you don't have to take a loan and additional.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people feel stuck, feel underwater because they spend a bit too much. They spend a bit
Yes.
too much on their houses. Yeah. So take your time. I think there's no rush to it.
Yay. All right.
Nice talking to you, Nura.
Nice. Thank you.
All the
so
best with
much.
your housing journey, and I hope you find the right one for you.
Yes, I'm gonna be saving up for my new house.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one.